Hey guys, happy Saturday morning to you. How are you? Coming to you with a brand new episode of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. Today's subject is going to be about staffing, essentially, and making sure you have enough people on staff or enough people around you to make sure you can adequately handle customers. Now, I'm going to give you a couple examples why I'm bringing this up and where it's coming from, but over the last couple days I happened to notice it. Because I'm very, very busy, and so is my fiance, we tend to go out to eat a lot more than probably we should, but with both of our schedules and the multiple businesses I run at any given time, that dictates sometimes the only way we can actually eat is to go out to eat. And what I have noticed between that is places that have the adequate staff that are there to handle you, that are there to help you, able to serve you, and be there and have enough people there to pay attention to you when you need it, especially if you're going to send a little bit more money than the average guy, which we usually do. And we're big tippers too as well. So if the service is good, we tip very well. If the service is even better than that. I don't tip based on percentages very often anymore. I tip based on experience. So if the experience is good, that's what it comes down to. And experience is a whole different issue we're going to talk about on a different day. But this particular subject I want to talk about today is about staffing and making sure you have enough people there at your key times. A negative example is we went to a couple of different stores to buy some things for our wedding. Things that are coming. Our wedding's coming up in about 6 weeks, and we're just down to the wire to getting through everything right now that we need to get through and to make sure we have everything we need. So I go to the local mall here in Toms River, and we go from one department store to another department store to another department store. And we noticed that the staffing is pretty rough. And it's not one store, it's all the stores. That you have to kind of run people down, chase them down to get an answer, get a question. Now, meanwhile, we're going in there, we're going to drop a substantial amount of money on the stuff. We're talking about, suits and stuff like that, where we can go to these major department stores and have custom order what we need to get. So we're willing to spend the money. It's not a problem over that. We don't want to overspend, but we want the good product. So we're willing to pay for good service if they have somebody there that can measure us, help us with stuff, and get things done. Out of the 5 different stores we went to, including 2 custom shops, the one store that gave us the best service was the least likely to give us service. Now, this is a Pennsylvania-based company. I'm going to shout out to them because I went there all my life, grew up going to their store, and understood what they were about. They're called Boscov's. When I was with my fiance, she's like, Boscov's, they wouldn't have suits. They wouldn't be a good place to be. You'd have to go to Macy's. You have to go to Men's Warehouse. You have to go to these places because that's what she's used to doing. And she's right. Those are mainstay places that can custom do suits. But out of all of them, we didn't have enough staffing. Now, Men's Warehouse was very good. We just couldn't find exactly what we were looking for there for the price point we were going to spend. Again, we're spending the upper end, but they did not have what we were looking for, could not accommodate us, so we needed to go somewhere else. So we went to the bigger stores, and of all places, Boscov's, which is a department store chain of discounted items, regular items too as well, had the biggest selection of suits. So we went there, tried them out. My fiance's son, Zach, tried them out. Fit, they were there, they kept everything put aside, they attended to our details. Even though she had a lot of things going on, the woman behind the counter was unbelievably helpful. Everything we needed, right, to putting them away, to bringing them back the next day to have things. And she did not have the staffing to help her with that. She was overwhelmed, had way too many things, not enough people on the floor, and she still took the time to work with us, to help us find things, to search through the different suits, to find different sizes. Now, I have a completely different size than him. He is 18 years old, and he is in much better shape than I am, and he's a young kid. So he has no body fat. So he's pretty easy to buy a suit for. Me, I got a few extra pounds I probably could lose, and it's a little tougher for me to buy a suit because I'm tall and the way I'm built. So this person was very, very helpful. I could not be more appreciative that we went in there, got the product we were looking for, spent the money, put the card down, paid the bill, didn't look back. Now we have them. We're done. We're down to the wire. We don't have time really to screw around. We need something that was actually going to work. The staffing was inadequate in most of these department stores, including Boscov's to me. Now, I know why that is. Department stores are not a big thing anymore. They're not as big and as powerful as they used to be because of online shopping, people buying products and clothes online without going to department stores. So you used to have a few more people in the department store to help you than you do today because they don't need people. There's many people, a lot of people buy stuff online. So I know that's why it shrunk a little bit, and they've hired more online people to take orders versus having staff in the store. So I get that, I understand that, and I mean it's probably very smart from a business model standpoint, but it's tough to the consumer to be able to do that. When you go to a restaurant and it's a Friday night and you want to go out to eat or grab something to eat, you know you're going to have to staff heavy on the weekends. You know, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, you're probably going to have staff heavy, especially Sunday if you're a sports bar and you need to have that. So you need to make sure you have the right amount of people to service the customers in the adequate amount of time that you need them there for. So if you're a department store, my advice is try to keep a few extra people on the floor, maybe 1 or 2 extra people on staff that can float, can go from one department to another department, and they can help out with things when needed, when there's overwhelm. Because you have one person in it that's covering 4 or 5 departments, that's the cashier and also the person that's managing it and the supervisor of that department. That's not enough. I mean, it's just not, because at any given time she could have nothing, or he could have nothing going on, or it could be 50 people are there trying to get something. But you should always have at least a floating person that can move from one to the other and be able to do those types of things. Restaurants, same way. You know you have to have enough staff to do it. Generally, I live on the Jersey Shore, but we go into New York, and I got to say, my experience in New Jersey Shore and New York has been pretty spectacular when it comes to service from restaurants. We have a couple we really favor because they really cater to us, and they treat us like their own, like we're the only people in the place, and we go there a lot, and that's why, because they take care of us and they give us that personal touch and sense of attention to it. So my whole thing is try to make sure you have enough staff on hand to handle your customers. If you can't go on the what if, it's probably going to happen if you go on the what if. So if you have a schedule where you go, okay, we're pretty packed, we got just enough people to cover it, we're sending our crews out into the field, and if something comes up, we're in big trouble, but, you know, hopefully nothing will come up. You can't plan your business life like that. And if you're in a business that deals with emergency services, you sure can't do that. So make sure you staff adequately. Don't overbook something when you know you do not have enough people to cover it, or make sure you hire enough people, bite the bullet, and get enough staff in there to make things happen, to make sure that you can handle all of the clients and customers' demands that you're going to run into. I really don't have much more than that onto it. It's more of an opinionated thing, but to me, staffing is crucial. You got to make sure you understand your analytics, understand what your peak times are, what people are purchasing, understand what's very popular, make sure you have something featured. And when you're doing these promotional, these featured things, make sure, God willing, you have the right staff and you stay very, very busy during those times. That's my pretty much example of it. I'd like to see more people in the store, but make sure you have enough people there to help, because unfortunately our situation, we were able to go in and get the product we needed to get. Eventually, after going to 3 or 4 stores, and the most unlikely of all the stores to buy a suit, we ended up buying. And we spent a lot of money on those suits and stuff, and we were very glad again to do so. But they were willing to accommodate us even when they didn't have the time. So me walking out of a store would have been a tremendous loss. We're talking several hundred dollars to go out there and buy these products and buy these suits and these things for our wedding, that we would just go to another store, or worst case scenario, we'd order online and go to a fitter or a seamstress or whatever and get everything taken care of here locally, which would have been, you know, terrible. I like to buy local in my market. I don't care if it's from a department store or a small mom and pop shop. If you have the products and you're local, I'd rather give you the business. Don't chase me away. Don't send me down to somebody else. Don't tell me that you're not interested in my business enough to not have enough people, that it's not worth it. For what we spent on those suits yesterday, you could pay for a small army of staff for the day, just to have those things without any other products being sold. So make sure you have enough people there. Don't chase them out of the store, because if you do, they're going to go online, they're going to buy the product, they're going to take it to a seamstress, and you're out. It's that simple. make sure you can accommodate what your customers need to be, whether, again, department store, a landscaping business, a carpet cleaning business, a restaurant. It doesn't matter. You know your peak times. Make sure you have enough people there to provide all of the high-level quality of service that you do every single day. Just make sure it's consistent, because one bad experience or two bad experiences can totally ruin your relationship with that person, and you don't need to go down that road. There's no need to. Make sure you can handle it. So that's it. A big shout out to a local sports bar we go to. Karen and I are both very, very avid football fans, so we go to a place called Sweeney's here in Brick. I love it. It's our home place. Incredible food, incredible staff, and great drink selection, and a lot of TVs to watch football games at. So for us, it's our favorite place. It's where I go. Even our band plays there. I just love it. And they always treat us like we're family every single time. They treat us like we matter, like we're there for a reason, and we do spend a lot of money there, as does everybody else. And we're glad to give it. We're glad to exchange our money for the product and service that you're delivering. So, Sweeney's, if you're here in Brick or you happen to see this, big shout out to you. You run a hell of an operation, and we love you. So, all right, guys. Again, make sure you manage your customers' expectations when it comes to staffing, and making sure you have enough people there to help people and not turn clients and customers away to your competition. It can hurt you vitally by not having things prepared. All right? Talk to you soon. We'll see you. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll come back to you on Monday with a brand new episode of 10-Minute Kick-Ass Coaching. We'll talk about a brand new subject. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.